it's important that we learn how to connect to our higher self, because it's like when you go to a friend and you're like stuck in this situation and you can't see how to get out or what action steps to take, and your friend will be like, oh, well, have you kind of looked at it this way? And you're like, oh my gosh, and you have this like epiphany. So it's like that. Your higher self is serving as that friend to you. They are not attached to your identity in the here and now and the self-limiting beliefs and the trauma. They can see your soul contract from a higher perspective and why certain karmic lessons are playing out, or why you have certain people in your life, or what's coming up next in the next chapter, even though you can't always see that from where you're sitting. So we're still having trouble hearing our higher self, and that channel's not quite open yet. I found a shortcut a couple years ago when I was learning how to connect to my higher self, and that was to heal my inner children. Because when you learn how to be a higher self to them, a guide, a coach, a friend, that naturally opens up the channel both ways, and now you can hear your higher self over here much more clearly. And where people get stuck sometimes and keep regurgitating the same reality around them, even though they consciously know that they should be in a different one or want to be in a different one, is because we all have multiple higher selves. It's like these new chapters that you hit, and if you do not have a clear definition on whom your next higher self is, it kind of just seems like this cosmic ethereal energy out here, and it's a little bit more intangible to connect with. Or you're connecting and downloading bits of information from many different selves from way in the future, and it's overwhelming and confusing because you're like, that's too much information. So I always suggest to personify your next higher self a year from now. What kind of thoughts are they thinking? What kind of actions are they taking? What do their finances look like? What are their romantic relationships look like, or their friendships? What are they doing in their career? What changes have they made a year from now? It's good to have 15, 20, 30-year goals, because that is what's going to light you up and excite you, because it's the bigger vision. But if you don't have something like a framework closer to you that makes it tangible that you can achieve along the way, we burn out of the fuel. And so when you have a clear picture and understanding of who you are a year from now, it's very easy to shift into that person, into that identity. And this is a framework that I put together and implemented within myself. And now what I'm capable of doing is, when I'm experiencing a lot of stress and anxiety in the here and now in my human situation, I can get in meditation and embody the energetics of me a year from now, and actually step into her energy field and into her consciousness. And then I can come over here and talk to me in the here and now, but as the higher self. And so what ends up happening is I get the downloads and the intuitive nudges and the pings and the action steps to take, because I'm slowly integrating becoming her identity, so I can hear her a lot more clearly. This is how you learn to consciously shift gears into higher states of consciousness. Now, are you always able to stay up there or connect to it? No, because we live the human, 3D paradigm, fear, anxiety life over here. But the more that you consciously do this identity embodiment and consciously shifting those gears, the more you can do it with ease, and the longer that you can hold it, and then all of a sudden you become your new higher self. It's a muscle that you have to build and get used to working within.